Hello everyone. Today we are going to start our second chapter, Materials, Metals and Non-Metals. On the basis of their general properties, elements are often divided into two classes, metals and non-metals. More than 110 elements are known today. Of these, only 24 are non-metals and the rest are metals. In this class, today we are going to study about physical properties of metals. Let us start with the metals. What are metals? Those materials which possess the characteristic of being hard, shiny, malleable, ductile, etc. are termed as metals. Few examples of metals are iron, gold, silver, aluminium, copper, etc. Let us see one by one these physical properties in detail. So the first physical property of metal is lustrous. Generally the metals are have luster. It is the property of metals which makes them shine and their structures are capable of reflecting incident light. They have a reflecting surface. Metals shine in light and can be polished to become even more lustrous. Second property is physical state. They generally exist in solid state at room temperature. Usually metals are hard, they do not break easily. Metals show a great tensile strength. The meaning of tensile strength is the ability of a material to resist tearing or breaking. So generally they exist in solid state at room temperature. One exception is there, that is mercury. It is an exception that exists as liquid at room temperature. So you have to remember children, all the metals are generally exist in solid state except mercury. Third property is melting and boiling point. Metals generally have high melting and boiling points. Here also some exceptions are there. Sodium and potassium have low melting point. Why they have low melting point? Because these are the two metals which are very soft and can be cut with a knife. Mercury has low boiling point, as we have discussed that mercury is a metal which exists in liquid state. So we cannot say that they have a melting point. So mercury has a low boiling point. So remember, metals generally have high melting and boiling points. Next is malleability. The property of metals which allows them to be beaten into their thin sheets is called malleability. Due to the presence of this property, the shape of iron nail and aluminium wire can be changed on beating. The silver foils used for decorating sweets and the aluminium foil used for wrapping food are possible because of malleability property of metals. A blacksmith hammers red hot iron to give it various shapes. A goldsmith also does the same thing. Gold can be beaten into very thin foil. Thus we see metals are malleable. We can see the metals available in different shapes. If when we are talking about gold, we see so many jewelry items which are given different shapes by the goldsmith. So that is beaten into a very thin foil and then the shapes are given. So metals possess the property of malleability. Ductility. The property of metals which allows them to be drawn into wires is called ductility. Example, metals like aluminium and copper wires are used in electric connection. Children generally get confused with malleability and ductility. In malleability, the metals can be converted into thin sheets, can be drawn into thin sheets, and here we are talking about wires. So this property is called ductility. Metals can be stretched into wires, that is, they are ductile. Watch a goldsmith at work and see how he draws gold wires. Tungsten can be drawn into extremely fine wires. Copper wires can also be drawn finely to be used as conducting wires. Conductivity. It is the property of metals which allows the heat and current to pass through them easily. For example, iron rod, nail, copper wire, etc. are good conductors of electricity. So we all know that metals have the property of passing the heat and current. Silver is the best conductor of electricity, followed by copper and aluminium. This is why electrical wires are mostly made of aluminium and copper. We do not use silver because it is expensive. Metals conduct heat too. This is the reason that pans used for cooking with copper at the bottom. So, the metals have the property of conductivity. Next is sonority. It is the property of metals which produces ringing sound on hitting. You have seen the bells in the temples. They are made of metals, not of wood, because only metals possess this property of sonority. Have you noticed the difference in sound on dropping a plate, a plastic plate and a steel plate? If not, try it now. You will find that the steel plate produces a ringing sound while the plastic plate drops more silently. This is why musical instruments like guitar and violin have strings made of metals. Once you strike them, they start vibrating and produce musical sound. So here we come to an end with the physical properties of metals. In the next class, we will learn about the physical properties of non-metals and difference between metals and non-metals based on their physical properties. Thank you.